Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tea Time with Tuskeh, the show that hopefully makes your Monday just that little bit more tolerable. Happy Monday the 19th of September, so sit back, relax with a cup of tea, and let's chat WoW news, content, and discussion. So, what news has happened over the weekend? Quite a lot of it, actually, so let's start with MMO Games and their interview with Louis Barriga, lead game designer of World of Warcraft. Now, although a lot of the information in this interview was a repeat of what we already know, there was an interesting note that I'd like to share. Barriga stated that, "We finished Legion and then we didn't stop. Okay, here's the next patch. It's going to be ready for testing soon. I can't recall a time when we've been so aggressive, when we've had plans for this patch and the next patch already. The main thing that we want to drive is that we want our fans to know we mean it when we say we have a lot of content planned for you guys. We're well aware that it was an issue towards the end of Warlords, and we want to reassure our fans that we have a content train that's not going to stop." This was very reassuring for me, and it really reinforces my hope that we'll be seeing a lot more content in Legion than in any other expansion. Hopefully the dry spell in Warlords marks the beginning of a period where there's plenty of new stuff to do. My hope is that we get an announcement for the next patch just before or shortly after patch 7.1 with Karazhan releases. Next piece of news, Shadow Form is returning to Shadow Priests. So in the patch 7.1 PTR, the spell currently reads, "Assume a shadow form, increasing your shadow damage dealt by 10% and reducing your physical damage taken by 10%. You may not cast holy spells while in this form." The shadowy visual is now tied to Shadow Form, and Void Form now acts to intensify Shadow Form. It automatically triggers Shadow Form if not already active, and you gain the effects of both. When Void Form ends, you return to Shadow Form. I honestly don't know enough about Shadow Priests to make a proper statement here, but in essence this buffs Shadow Priests. From what I understand, if they have the time and the team around them to ramp up and get tons of haste stacks, they can do insane damage over longer fights. But it takes time for them to reach that threshold, and it can often lead to their death through Surrender to Madness. So this is a really nice baseline buff for them. There has also been a new set of hotfixes. You can read the link in the description if you want to go over all of them, but here are a few interesting notes. Tank damage has been reduced by 10%. This is kind of still in progress, but that's what the goal is. Basically, tanks were dealing too much damage. It happens every now and then, sometimes they just need to be toned down. It doesn't affect anyone but the tanks, so there you go. And it's still a fairly small change, so you shouldn't have any issues soloing anything. Some big changes are that Havoc Demon Hunter's Fell Barrage and Windwalker Monk's Strike of the Windlord have been nerfed. Havoc Demon Hunter's Fell Barrage will now no longer charge faster based on how many targets they hit with abilities. This is to kind of increase the amount of time in between Fell Barrages since it's such a strong ability. So that's a bit of a nerf to Fell Barrage. On top of this, Windwalker Monk's Strike of the Windlord will now deal less damage to secondary targets, nerfing the ability fairly heavily. It's not that bad, it's still a great ability, but it's no longer doing snap AoE, big burst of damage that no one can compete with. I know as an Outlaw Rogue, I've got some pretty nice AoE, especially when things start dying, but if Windwalker Monk's in there, they use Strike of the Windlord and bam! Just most things almost die. It's a hugely hard-hitting ability, so I'm glad that that has seen a little bit of a reduction. And the rest of the Windwalker Monk's kit has been completely unchanged, so that's fine. Protection Paladin healing has taken a bit of a hit as well, with a developer note reading, "Protection Paladin self-healing was buffed substantially near the end of beta, based on concerns that it was too weak. But those concerns have proven unfounded. We're bringing it back down to its intended level." So that's not too much of a big deal. Protection Paladins should still hopefully be nice and strong as a tank. Legion foods and drinks should now restore twice as much health and mana. That is a lovely, lovely change for those non-healing classes, and especially for healers, because there aren't actually that many drinks out there that can actually restore your mana bar entirely, so hopefully that should fix this issue. All of the buffs for these foods are unchanged. The damage output of Potion of Deadly Grace and Potion of the Old War has been increased by 100%, which is interesting. Currently, it's kind of difficult to feel the effect of either, so hopefully this will help. They're still bloody expensive, and as an Outlaw Rogue, I'm still not sure whether I should be taking one or the other. I've got both in my bags ready for raids, and honestly, we don't know yet. It does seem odd that Potion of Deadly Grace, which is clearly designed for ranged damage dealers, is good enough to be considered using over the Potion of the Old War for a melee. So that's weird, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I expect another hotfix sometime soon regarding this, or maybe we're just wrong. I don't know. Another hotfix states, and I quote, "Identified and fixed an issue that could cause Legion legendary items to drop more frequently than intended if a player had already received their first legendary."
Guys.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
I gotta leave. I'm done.
What the fuck?
I have
You
to go.
Guys, I'm sorry.
goddamn
I have to go.
son of a bitch!
Oh
I have to
no.
go.
Dirty whore!
Wow.
I have to go. I
Oh,
can't
no.
handle this.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm
No,
uninstalling this game.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
that's not enough.
Are you
Okay.
kidding me?
So sorry.
Short of a G kick.
Am I allowed
Right.
to G kick him, please?
I'm ready to. Don't tempt me.
Yeah. That was a problem. You can now pay to change your battle tag. The cost is $10 and the first time will be free, so if you want to change your battle tag, just go to your account page, summary, and find your battle tag. Hit change and get to it. Just note that this won't change your friends list or remove you from your friends lists either. I have absolutely no opinion on this. I really don't care. So yeah, that's a thing you can do now. It's also Pirates Day today, and for today only, so get yourself down to Booty Bay and check out some of the quests and achievements there. There's a link in the description for more information. Finally, Craig Amai, lead quest designer for World of Warcraft, is stepping away from the game. He's going to work on some new projects. He's not leaving Blizzard, as he states on his Twitter page here. Now, I had a chance to chat with Craig at BlizzCon last year about his work on artifact weapons, and he's a really intelligent and very charismatic guy. I had an absolutely great discussion with him about the different artifact weapons and how they intended to work, and it's pretty much gone exactly as intended, and I think he's done some great work. I wish him the absolute best of luck on future projects, and I hope to hear more from him and hopefully chat with him again at BlizzCon this year. Moving on to the daily tip. So, are you tired of the bar at the top of your screen in your class order hall? Does it get in the way? Well, there are add-ons to remove it. But here's the interesting thing. MoveAnything, a very popular and powerful add-on that lets you move anything, can do it as well. I would definitely suggest this add-on. You can find a link to it in the description. Just open MoveAnything up and search for Order Hall. This will let you move or hide the bar, and you can even search for the new Quest talking head frame to move that one too. This has all been updated in Legion. It's all nice and smooth and sleek and works lovely, so I would definitely suggest it. Now it's time for the screenshot of the day. So this is a screenshot that's cool, pretty, or interesting. You can send in screenshots via twitter.com/Tuskeh or mail them to me. I've been getting a lot of them, so thank you for that. Make sure you keep them coming in. I love seeing some of the stuff you guys have taken screenshots of, and I definitely intend to keep this one up. Today's screenshot comes from Pipisepi, mounted atop Storm Talon, the rare dragon in the Storm's Reach World PvE area. I love this screenshot for two reasons. Firstly, the absolutely fantastic transmog, complete with Dark Spear Tabard and Voodoo Mask from the Throne of Thunder. And secondly, the chat box. Just look at how many times Pepepsi has emoted to get the image right. That is awesome. I love that dedication, and I love this picture in general. Thank you very much for sending it in, Pepepsi. And remember to send in your screenshots via twitter.com/Tuskeh or mail them to me for a chance to be shown on the show. Now it's time for the Q&A. Getting right into it, Alex Sanchez asks, do you have a link to your interface? I get this question a lot. I have a link to my old one, but I'm still working on perfecting this one. So for now, I'm not going to release it. Once I've prepared it and I've got it all bug-free and it looks nice, I'll definitely get a video ready for it, just not yet. This kind of thing takes time, and there's always a little bit of something that I need to adjust or tune, and in between doing everything else, it's just something that slips my mind, to be honest. So I will get to it. It's on the list of things to do. Wilton Freiberg asks, hi guys, I'm thinking of using my level 100 boost on a warrior, which will probably become my main. My question is it weird or bad that a main character is boosted? Like, will it not be able to get some things like level 60 achievements and level 85 achievements, etc.? So, this is definitely not a weird thing. First of all, those achievements will be completed the moment you boost up, so that won't be a problem at all. And second of all, boosting up doesn't stop you from going back and getting older achievements in your spare time. A few months into Legion, you can happily do older quests, dungeons, raids, and other achievements, and pretty much all of that you can do by yourself, completely solo. So just take your time to learn your warrior. I've included a link in the description to the Icy Veins guides for warriors, so if you want to make sure you're doing the absolute most you can with your warriors, click on those links, give that a read, and see about perfecting your playstyle. Finally, Lily Madison mails in, "Hey Tuskeh, loving the show first of all. I just wanted to get your opinion on an issue I feel really hinders my ability to enjoy WoW as much as I could. I suffer from severe anxiety in real life, and I feel like it seeps into my WoW life. For example, I'm too scared to join a guild or get tactics wrong, which stops me from doing group activities most of the time, as I'm too afraid of being shunned, shouted at, or verbally abused or laughed at. I'm just too shy. It makes WoW a bit of a lonely place. A little weird, but it might be nice to hear some tips and tricks from an extrovert like yourself." So, I can't offer any official advice here since I have no experience with this and I'm not going to pretend to have any kind of special viewpoint or secret tip, because that's really putting the onus on you, isn't it? It's like, I have this one secret tip, and if only you had the willpower and fortitude to do what I say, your life would be so much better. No, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to say that. I will, however, happily tell you what I tell myself when I'm feeling nervous about something. So, no matter what you're preparing to do, no matter what you're nervous about, no matter what happens, be it in real life or in-game, you and everyone around you is exactly the same. You're all human beings with lives, families, friends, passions, fears, concerns, regrets, and comforts. Everyone on Earth, from the most haughty politician to the unknown worker to those that suffer from simple and solvable crises, is a human being. All the same. Now this can be a very scary prospect, and people deal with this in different ways. Some people are nasty, some people are kind, some people are a combination, some people make guides on the internet, but everyone deals with this in one way or another, and everyone is complex. You only need a little bit of courage to do what you want to do, be it getting into a guild or trying out a dungeon or a raid run or LFR or something like that. You just need a bit of courage. Now, the piece of advice I would have here is think about your character in World of Warcraft. Not just, oh, I'm a level 110 demon hunter and I use these talents. No, I mean the actual character in the world. No doubt they've had a difficult life, what with Azeroth and Outland and Draenor being war-torn lands. And now with a legion looming overhead, these demons that are threatening to destroy everything, no doubt these characters have got the weight of the world on their shoulders. That's a lot of stress. But these characters, they press on and they're heroes, not because they're not scared, but because they have the courage to keep going despite being afraid. Now, I've done this several times in the past, remembering what the characters in the worlds I've created would do in my predicament. I particularly had a character called Rakshu Hammertusk, who was a troll warrior on the Argent Dawn EU server, who was this big and strong and powerful warrior who was an extrovert, who always had a joke or a way to solve a situation or diffuse an awkward encounter. And he was great to roleplay out. I happily admit I was a roleplayer, but I wasn't like that when I started roleplaying him, and I let him rub off on me. I often found myself thinking, well, what would Rakshu do in this situation, you know? So maybe that will help you. That's how I deal with nervousness and stress and things like that, and I don't know if it helps, but that's my attempt to help out. All anyone can ask is that you give it a shot. Like that. I just gave it a shot. Hopefully, it helps. Finally, the Opera House. Today, let's listen to a lovely piece of music from Sholazar Basin within Northrend. This is by far the most memorable piece of music from the zone for me, and I've stopped several times within Sholazar Basin to just stop and listen to the sounds of the zone and this piece. The music itself even comes with some background ambience. That's how dedicated they are to making it feel like you're in this lush jungle that's been created by the Titans. It's a beautiful, calming piece of music that I love to listen to every now and then in between all of the epic battle music and all the brooding, evil pieces we listen to in Legion. So I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions for the show, any thoughts, comments or suggestions, you can contact me using the links in the description, or you can just leave a comment. If you want to help support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon page in the description as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in the World of Warcraft.